will last forever. Together forever. This will last forever. Joined together when God is joined together. Nothing or no one can put us under. This will last forever. Together forever. This will last forever. Joined together when God is joined together. Nothing or no one can put us under. This will last forever. Together forever. This will last forever. Joined together when God is joined together. Nothing or no one can put us under.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Marriage and Ministry. I am so excited about our session, our time together today. I have my favorite guest, my most favorite guest of all time on the show. He's been on here before, but I'm so glad that he is coming back with me. I'm sure y'all know who that is when I say my favorite. I enjoy all my guests, but today I know that I am going to enjoy him. My guest today is none other than my husband, Jason Battle. Babe, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I know we didn't end well last show, but I promise this one is going to be better. Now, Jason and I have been married. We just recently celebrated 18 years of marriage. And so we're coming on today to talk about 18 things that we have learned in 18 years. So we'll go back and forth just to talk about those things. Now, we understand that 18 years is not a long time when you think about forever. Forever is a long time. But we also know that in those 18 years, we have learned a lot. I can attest to Jason's growth, and I hope he can attest to mine. Just how year one is a lot different than year 18. And so we're just going to go through no rhyme or reason. They're in no order, no specific order. We're not prioritizing them. And actually, y'all, I do not know what Jason's 9 are. I don't know. So I am just as interested to hear what his 9 are. And he doesn't know what my 9 are. So you're interested to hear my 9?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
No, you can go first.
Okay. So the first thing that one of the lessons that I have learned in 18 years is that, and y'all have heard this before, this is my motto for marriage. Different is not bad. It's just different. So you and I are different. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
We are different. I'm just gonna leave it. We're different.
No question about it.
It's so okay. All right. So okay, we're different. All right.
I wanted to make sure I put the intensity on it.
But I'm learning that's not a bad thing. So in the beginning of our marriage, I think I spent, and this is why this is my first one, I spent a lot of time trying to shape or cultivate or make us to be like each other. Mainly, I felt like you could have some more attributes that I had, right? And I spent a lot of time trying to make you, I guess, quote unquote, into a person and not really appreciating the person you are. So once I think year 10, 18 years, maybe even year 12, just stop and realize different isn't bad. It's just different. And celebrating who you are and understanding and realizing that our differences really balance us out. So if we were both like each other, then I think we would have a very interesting marriage.
Oh, well, being different is not, like you said, is not bad because, you know, in our differences, we do have a lot of things that we enjoy together.
Right.
A lot of similarities.
Right.
But I would also say we probably are more different than we are similar.
We are.
Which, you know, I think I agree. I think in the first few years of our marriage, there was too much emphasis on trying to shape it to look as, I mean, I don't know, like the Huxtable family or
Right,
something.
right.
You know, like shape it and mold it into other marriages that you've seen instead of growing into our marriage
Yeah, that's
and who we're going to be.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, that's the whole point about self. Is that your number 2, or do you want to say?
No.
Okay, what's
Look,
yours then?
Well, and so my first point of our growth over the years has been communication.
Okay.
Just the way we communicated year 1 to like you say 10 or 12 compared to where we are now in our communication. Just of making sure that we do communicate more. We don't assume things. That we talk it out, we hash it out, and we kind of keep the other in the loop because we are both very busy and we have very busy schedules.
Yes.
Which involve our personal lives as well as our children.
Right.
So just the way we communicate now is totally different. In the first few years, I believe it was more so just saying I'm gonna do this or I'm going to do that, or or you might find out after it was already done.
Right.
And being compared to now of talking it out beforehand.
Right. And I think that is a great point and one, I appreciate the growth, and I feel like I had to grow more in that area to bring you into what I was doing, what I had going on. Because I remember you'll say, if you're not going to leave at 8:30, just let me know you're not going to leave at 8:30. Like if it's 9, just say that, because I'm at home waiting. I'm thinking something may have happened, or I cooked dinner, now it's cold. And I'm thinking, what's the big deal? I got caught up at church. Somebody came in my office. It was a meeting that I forgot about. I'm home now. And so I didn't really understand that. And when it clicked, I was like, oh, wow, that does make sense. And it may have clicked when something happened on the opposite end, when the shoe was on the other foot.
May have been.
Yeah, like you could have called me. You didn't tell me you want to come home late.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, is it?
It's not a good feeling. It's no fun when the rabbit has the gun, huh?
Never is.
So that's 2. Communication is key. And now I am learning. I'm trying to over-communicate because I would not tell stuff because I anticipate, like you said, I assume your reaction. And I'm trying to avoid reaction like, oh, you got to go here, or you got to go see this person. You have to go, you going to Rocky Mount, back to Nashville, back to Rocky Mount. And what do you love to say? That don't make no sense.
That don't make no sense.
And so I would try to avoid that. And so I would leave out the second trip to Rocky Mount. Like, hey, I'm going to Nashville and I'm going to Rocky Mount. And I would leave out the back and forth to avoid the response. And
you do realize the mileage on your car tells every time.
The mileage on my car, that was just one example, though.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
I know my car has high mileage. That was one example. But what I'm trying to get to is recently, one of Pastor Gillier's Bible studies, I was convicted by the Holy Spirit because even though I don't tell and I do it, that's literally lying. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to avoid your response, but I'm really lying to my husband. And it's like I was sitting in Bible study and, when we were doing the hate list, it was like, God hate a lying tongue. I'm like, but what about a tongue that just don't say something that happens? Is that a lying tongue? And the Holy Spirit was like, yeah. Absolutely. And so recently, in 18 years, that was 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and it just hit me that I need to communicate everything. And I'm learning. This is my second.
That's why it was number 1 on my list.
Oh, okay.
Because we have done a tremendous job of communicating better.
Yeah.
Over 18 years.
Yep.
So that's that's the place I think we've had the most growth.
Yeah. And my number two, this leads into my number two. People change, or people grow. And I think if we try to interact with each other like year one, we'll miss out on a lot of opportunities. So now your response is different than what it was year one. So if I say, hey, I have to go to Nashville, back to Rocky Mount, back to Nashville, your response now is more understanding, is more, oh, wow, okay, that
Compassionate.
is more, it's more compassionate. And so with the hot, I didn't even really need to not tell you because you weren't the same Jason year 1 through 5. Now, you'll still say, that don't quite make sense, but be safe. Or could you do it could you kind of minimize the trips by doing X, Y, Z? You'll give suggestions. And I appreciate those. Now, before it was like, oh, you trying to tell me what to do, or you trying to change my plans. Now I appreciate those. So I say that to say, you cannot treat your spouse in year 18 like you do year 1. And I'm talking to the camera because I'm sure that this lesson, as all of them, can be applicable to somebody. People change, people grow, and so you would be surprised how your spouse may have grown in an area you didn't even realize. So you're still acting such where you don't have to. So my number 2, I have learned in 18 years that I'm different than I was year 1, and you are different, and I need to respond. Why are you laughing?
No, I'm thinking.
I need to respond accordingly.
Well, no, so it leads into my number 2.
Okay.
Of my first thing was communicating, but then my second was we've become better listeners of each other.
Oh, okay.
The way we receive the information that is given to us and how we respond to it. So instead of just not being heard, but actually listening and understanding where you're coming from and, what the expectations may be.
Right.
So I think, so again, my number 2 is just listening better.
We're listening better, yeah.
Yeah, where we're actually hearing, we are active listeners when the other is talking.
Right. Now, did something occur in our marriage that that facilitated your growth, or just maturity over, age maturity?
No, it was just, I think for me, it's just maturity. Understanding that your role, and I can't even say work role, just your role in life has you in many different places, and I have to hear where you are and know what you're doing all the time, just so I can navigate which way I'm gonna go.
All right.
So I think it's just my growth.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate my active listening?
Well, let's not rate it. Let's go from, let's say where you started and where you are
Okay,
now.
so yeah, let's tell the people the growth. Where did I start and where am I?
You started probably a 3 or a 4 out of 10. Now you might be a 5 now.
I'm a
5. Maybe 5.
Are you serious?
5.5. I'm sorry, I left that off.
So what?
That wasn't fair. That wasn't fair. You should at least be a 5.5.
I'm gonna pause and see if you for real.
8.
8, okay. 8. All right, so I just did the pause.
8.
And I like how you said where I was to where I've become. To, instead of saying you are this, showing the growth. So can I rate your active listening?
Go ahead.
Okay, so where you were.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Where you were was a 2, but where you are now is a 8.5. So, I know you thought I was gonna say lower than me, but
I would have guessed that, but
no, I wasn't gonna put you lower than me because you have taught me about active listening, right? And I've seen that growth before you would get frustrated or shut down, but I can see you processing, asking questions of me like, okay, so this is what you mean. So you're saying that you're going to get Maya, then you're going to take her here. And so I don't need to make dinner for you all? Is that what you're saying? And so those, like repeating those questions, making sure you get clarity, because I like what you said earlier about you can't assume things. Making sure you get clarity. So you've taught me that. Now, in the beginning, it was frustrating because, like I said, it's like, man, I'm grown, you questioning me. And it wasn't questioning, it was asking questions for clarity. So I gave you an 8.5 because I think I have learned from you about that active listening and how to do it well and the importance of it.
Oh, wow. I had no idea you were learning from me.
Yes, you have taught me a lot.
Oh.
You have taught me a lot.
Okay.
And the number 3, it's your turn. No, your number 2 was active listening. Okay, so my number 3, because we each have 9. I'm sure y'all have guessed that. We each have 9.
But they may overlap.
Yeah, they may overlap.
We did not rehearse this or communicate it. So.
We didn't rehearse it. I don't know his 9. He doesn't know my 9, and they may overlap. My number 3 is develop a friendship with your spouse. And so spend time developing a friendship with your spouse just as you do an intimacy with your spouse. So I say that because I think we have been very intentional with building our friendship because in the beginning, we both would say we weren't good friends.
Which seems kind of strange now, with being on a show talking about marriage and saying we really weren't the best of friends.
We weren't.
I mean, well, we weren't necessarily the number 1 phone call that was made when something active happened.
Right.
And again, that may not be you. That may be me more so than you. But
so
yeah.
who was your number 1 phone call?
I didn't have a phone call. I just kept it to myself.
You kept it to yourself?
Yeah.
So you were your number 1 phone call.
Yeah,
So how did that get in the way of us being friends then?
Because like coming along.
I'll ask the children who your number 1 phone call was.
That's gonna be funny.
That is
long as you get them talking about it on camera. Oh boy, yeah. Well, nah. So a lot of my upbringing was about the right hand never lets the left hand know what it's doing and things like that. So I mean, and that wasn't everything going on in my life. Just sometimes I just I tell her when I tell her, and because I know a lot of times with you, I know you're gonna be happy for me regardless.
Right.
So it's kind of like I can discuss this with this person, and then she'll know afterwards. But yeah, we as friends we have grown probably more in that area than any area we have.
Right.
Just of being more open in conversation and what's the word? Vulnerable. And enjoying one another, laughing.
And I think one of the hindrances for us becoming friends is that we didn't find the same things funny at first. And we still don't, but we're still becoming friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still friends. We're good friends, yeah. Best friends, I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's really it's probably more that again it goes back to the differences of where our interests were.
Right.
So
right.
The things that you may not, that I didn't find funny that you may show me or talk about, that's probably more so what it was.
Yeah. And you're right. I think we had different interests. That's a better way to say it. What do you think helped us grow closer as friends? Time, yeah. And I think our children.
Yeah, I think I know our children have done a whole lot as far as just our growth in our marriage, because with them being so active and being a part of so many different things, like we cannot afford to not communicate.
Right.
And be on the same page and be on a much more in contact
Right.
than we were before we had children. So, yeah, a lot of people talk about how, their children kind of may come in and build a wedge between them.
Right.
But actually, as far as you and I go, when you put it like that, they probably have brought us closer.
Yeah.
Just for me and you.
Right. Because let me make this clear. We were not enemies. So it's not like we were in the house at each other's throat all the time. It's just that it was very clear that Jason and I had different interests, and it seemed like it was hard for us to connect with one another in that area, like enjoying one another. So if someone is wondering, how did we get married and we weren't friends? Do you want to explain?
We were friends. We just were not the best of friends.
Right.
So it wasn't like we would go somewhere together and we just ride in the car and both of us quiet the whole time.
Sometimes, but not all the time.
That's when you be on your phone. But
you be on your phone.
Nonetheless,
Don't start it.
nonetheless, that's also something that has helped us grow as far as our friendship and our communication is, one thing is when we go on a trip or we go somewhere, we try to actively put our phones away.
Right.
And have dialogue.
Right.
While we're traveling, while we're moving from place to place. And that's helped out a lot because when we're moving and we're doing things like that, that gives us an opportunity to just be calm and talk through whatever our schedules may look like for the next week, the next month, or what have you. So it's so many. So when you talk about over 18 years, and really that's just something we probably start doing in the last 3 or 4 years-ish. But those are the small things that have helped us.
Right. And I think about how we would start taking those trips because we wanted time with just us away from the kids. And now when we go away, we say, we have to plan one with the kids. We have to plan one as a family. So we recognize the time we need, but we also recognize the value of just cultivating the friendship, not just with us, but with our kids too, with our children. And I was talking about that today, how Maya is my best friend, McKinley and Jace are yours. And and they literally are, which seems weird, what seems interesting because McKinley is a female. And I remember one time she was 6th grade going through something, and I kept saying, "What's wrong, baby? What's wrong?" "I'm good. I'm good." I'm like, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." And she at the kitchen table. So you walk in and you say, "Hey, McKinley, what's wrong?" "Daddy, I needed to tell you." And she just laid out like all this stuff. And I'm thinking, dang. But I recognize that now y'all spend a lot of time together because y'all at the same school, play sports and stuff. But she taught me a lesson about me. And when I asked her, I said, "Why you feel like you couldn't talk to me?" She was saying, "Ma, when I tell you, you just go to 10, straight to 10. Daddy is cool, collect, and he does the active listening that you do. He listens, and then he kind of helps me through the situation." So she was in 6th grade at that time, and it really helped me cultivate a friendship with her because I then knew how she responds to certain reactions, right? So Maya wants you to go to 10 with her. Like, really? What? And so, I go to 10 automatically, so me and her are the best of friends, and she loves that. And Jace just kind of, his name is Junior, and that is, I did a great job naming him perfect name. So.
Boy, ice cold.
That is your son.
Don't a whole lot of things move him. So.
No, he is not moved by a lot of things. That's why, though, kudos to our Next Gen ministry. Last night, early this week, we were talking about Bible study. And he was like, "Ma, I want to share what I learned about Bible study." And it was so cool. And I had not seen him express that much emotion outside of sports. And he was just, so kudos to whatever our next gen ministry is doing and Bible study, teaching them. Kudos to you all. All right, so that was your, whose turn is it?
Mom.
Okay.
I'm on 3, and it's all of our things really tie in together.
Right.
And it's my next one was becoming team players. Just understanding that it's not just me that has to do this, or it's not just you. Like, you know, just trying to pull my weight as a husband, as a father, of doing the things that just need to be done, regardless of, you know, whether it's inside or it's outside. You know, working together as a team,
right,
and not necessarily individually. I think over time we've done a whole lot better working together,
right,
to achieve a goal. And with you know, going along with Bible study last night, we're a sports family,
yeah,
as well. So, you know, everything is kind of team oriented.
right.
So we really try to do things and work as a team, especially you and I, as far as, you know, how we manage our children's schedule and our marriage.
Right. Yeah, my slogans for us, battle strong and team battle, just really, I would say that, put them on the t-shirts for the kids' games, but it's really, it defines us, and it just kind of helps fuel us, keep us motivated when we have that in mind. You know, you grew up, you played sports all your life, and then you were a dual athlete at the North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. And so you were a baseball player and football player. And so I did basketball, and our children are active. And so you pause like that when I said I did basketball.
No. Honestly, I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about what you said earlier about us not being friends, but like when people find out or really think about I was a dual sport athlete, like they know why we ended up together, because of the way you chased me. You know what I mean? So,
first of all,
I really just thought about that when you were talking. So,
well,
but you can proceed. Go ahead.
Okay.
But
I did not know you were
you caught me though.
I caught you,
Yeah.
but you caught me. I did not know you were the quarterback of the team. I did not know you were the all-star center fielder. I didn't know that when we met. I promise. I did not know that. Now I've grown to appreciate that.
Cut the cameras off.
Cut the cameras off. I'm lying. And that's the untruth. But as I was able to learn more about your athletic career and the accolades and the achievements you have made, I really appreciate. And I started coming to baseball games. I had never been to a baseball game before. And so yes, if you want to say I caught you, I chased you, I'll let that be.
I'm just joking.
I'm just glad I caught you. I am just glad I caught your eye.
I'm just joking.
And that I am Mrs. Battle.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Joking. So the battle, the team thing, I think with our children helps define our marriage to them. So an instance that just came up recently when Kenley asked me something, and I said, you need to go ask your dad. And she was like, but Daddy gonna say no. I said, well, if you know Daddy gonna say no, then you don't need to ask me. Because my yes is gonna be negated by his no anyway if he doesn't feel like you should go. So I think us just really stressing and just really applying and implementing that team concept helps them see marriage and respect marriage and see our roles. So that's good. So anything else about team battle?
No.
I have to get some t-shirts made. We should have some t-shirts up here that said team battle. And okay, let me stop, because I do want you to come back, because I can kind of see your eyes. I see your eyes, and okay, stop. All right.
Together, nothing or no